Hi guys, welcome back to Beautifully Bookish Bethany, where I have new videos every week about books and the geeky mom lifestyle. Subscribe for more bookish videos and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified every time I release a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about all of the books on my physical owned TBR that have the longest titles. There were a couple of reasons that I decided to make this video and thought it might be interesting. One of the reasons is that you guys really seemed to like the video where I talked about all the longest books on my TBR, so I thought this would be fun. But the other inspiration for this is actually a tweet. There is a publicist for Orbit, Paula, who is really wonderful, and I follow her on Twitter, and I saw her recently tweet about the fact that books with really long titles are so terrible for publicists because they have to find ways to tweet promotional things about this book with limited characters and this super long title. And I just thought, oh, that's really interesting, because for a while really long titles were very much in vogue. And so I thought it'd be interesting to look through my shelves and see how many books with really long titles I had. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 9 books that have the longest titles on my physical owned TBR. And in doing this selection, I had a few rules that I put in place just so that this didn't get out of hand. All of them had to have at least 7 words in the title. So all of these have at least 7 words in the title. And that had to be 7 words in the primary book title, not the sort of subtitle. Sometimes you have these books with a title and then a colon and then more of a title. I'm not counting anything that would come after a colon. It had to be at least 7 words before the colon. And I'm going to share them with you in order of title length. So first we're going to start with the books that have 7 words in their title. First up is an arc that I picked up last year, and I've heard really good things about this. I know I still haven't gotten around to it. I do want to read it. This is The Last True Poets of the Sea by Julia Drake. So I think this is some kind of a YA contemporary retelling of something by Shakespeare. It might have been Twelfth Night. I am not sure. I've heard that this is beautiful, kind of sad, and has a queer relationship at the center of it. So I have friends who really loved this. So this is something I am still interested in, which is why I've kept it on my shelves, but I feel like I need to be in the right mood for it, for like a sad YA contemporary, even if it's got like a little bit of magic to it. But this is one of the books with 7 words in the title on my physical TBR. Also with 7 words in the title, I have The Cavendish Home for Boys and Girls by Claire Legrand. I got a little beat up there. This was a used copy that I found. I love Claire Legrand, and eventually I want to read all of her backlist. Everything I've read from her so far is her YA books, but she also writes middle grade, and this is one of her middle grade titles. So this one follows a girl who's a good student and kind of a perfectionist, but everything kind of goes wrong for her when her best friend disappears and nobody will tell her anything. And so she has to investigate the dark underbelly of her city and dark secrets to figure out what's going on with him. So I haven't read this one yet. It sounds really interesting. I generally like her writing, and I haven't read her middle grade books yet, but I have a few of them on my TBR, so I need to get to those. Another book I have on my TBR with 7 words in the title is a nonfiction pick that my husband actually gifted to me a while back, and this looks really interesting. It's called Who Thought This Was a Good Idea? And Other Questions You Should Have Answers to When You Work in the White House by Alyssa Mastromonaco. I'm definitely interested in this. Who thought this was a good idea is the part that had to be at least 7 words, and it is in fact 7 words. This is what I was talking about, where this part of the title doesn't count. So this is a memoir written by a woman who worked for Barack Obama well before he was ever in the White House, and kind of chronicles that journey. It definitely sounds like something that would be interesting and up my alley, so I do want to read this at some point. And it was very kind of my husband to pick it up for me. And the last book with a 7-word title is The Catastrophic History of You and Me by Jess Rothenberg. So I picked this up because I loved The Kingdom by this author so much, even though I think this is a very different book. This was her debut several years ago. And this follows a girl who literally dies of a broken heart and then kind of comes back as like a ghost, I think, and uncovers some dark secrets that her best friend had been keeping from her, something like that. So obviously this is going to be very different from The Kingdom, but I loved that one so much I thought it would be interesting at some point to try out her debut as well. Okay, moving on, we have a few books with 8 words in the title. First up, I have The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I am super excited about this. Actually, I was able to purchase this because of a birthday gift from one of my subscribers. So thank you so much to Vi for helping me bring this into my life. She donated to my coffee account as a birthday thing and was like, let me know what book you pick up. And so I was really, really excited I was able to buy this one. I've heard so many good things about it, and it sounds like it would be up my alley. It's kind of horror and comedy that gets dark in some places. It's set in the American South in the 1980s, and it follows a group of middle-aged women who have a book club. And they have a new neighbor move in who joins the book club and seems really nice, but then there seem to be some very strange things about him. And obviously, as the title tells you, there's like vampires here. I've heard so many good things about this. I'm really excited to have it, and it has 8 words in the title. The next book with an 8-word title is The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society by Marianne Schaffer and Annie Barrows. This is one that I picked up because I have a couple of friends, including Katrina from Fabulous Book Fiend, who really loved this, and I know there's a TV adaptation about it that's supposed to be really good. It's set during World War II, but it's supposed to be more lighthearted than a lot of wartime historical fiction is, and like funny, and it's an epistolary book, so it's primarily, or maybe entirely actually, told using letters. So I've heard really good things about this. It's another one that like I really want to get to at some point, but it's been like languishing on my shelves, and it has 8 words in the title. And the final 8-word title that I have on my TBR is How Not to Hate Your Husband After Kids by Jancee Dunn. This I think I got like 2 years ago, 3 years ago at like BookCon, I think. When did I get this? Oh my gosh, let's see. Oh wow, yeah, so 2017. This was my first BookCon. I had a signed copy, I had an infant, and I never got around to reading this. Thankfully, I'm after kids and do not hate my husband. He's great. But this just sounded like an entertaining premise. So it's like a nonfiction, like partly memoir, I guess, with some advice. It seems like it would be a good time. Then, clocking in at 9 words in the title, is a book that was sent to me also as a birthday gift from my friend Amanda over at the Naughty Librarian. And what's funny is actually this book was published by Orbit, which is who that publicist works for. Maybe this is one of the things she was complaining about. This is A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe by Alex White. And it sounds like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. My friend Amanda thought I would enjoy it. It's been compared to Firefly. It's got kind of a oddball crew on a spaceship on like a mission, and it sounds like it would probably be a really good time. And coming in with the longest title on my shelves with 12 words in the title. Guys, this is such a long title, and maybe that's why I haven't read it yet, I don't know. It's another arc that's been sitting on my shelves for a while. This is The Incredible True Story of the Making of the Eve of Destruction by Amy Brashear. That, my friends, is a very long book title. This is a YA historical fiction. It's set in 1984 in Arkansas. This actually sounds pretty interesting. I really should read this. Apparently there was actually an incident where an accidental explosion almost triggered a nuclear war, and so this is inspired by that, but it follows a teen girl who has a walk-on role in like some kind of a Hollywood radio call-in contest or something, and it's also dealing with family stuff. So her parents are divorced, and she lives in a mostly white town and comes from a white family, but her mother has married one of the only black men in town, and now she has a stepbrother, and so dealing with like race relations during this time. It sounds really interesting. I just haven't read it. So yeah, this came out November of 2018 and is the winner of having the longest title of a book on my TBR. So, I don't know what we learned from this exactly, but hopefully this was interesting. You get a little bit of a look at the diverse array of things that are sitting on my TBR shelves and things that I want to read at some point. And all of these have very long titles, so I'm sorry to the publicists who have had to promote these. Let me know in the comments down below if you found this interesting, if you would like to see me continue doing a series of videos on different types of books on my TBR, because maybe that would be interesting for people. Let me know in the comments down below. And for your question of the day, tell me about a book with a very long title that is on your TBR. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.